We're ready to begin with New Mexico. We have student athletes Khadijah Shumpert, Caroline Durbin, Coach Yvonne Sanchez. Coach, if we could just start with you, some comments on today's game.
Sure. I'd like to congratulate San Diego State and Coach Burns, not only for, tonight's game, obviously, for an outstanding season. She represents our league very well. She'll represent our league very well in the NCAA tournament. Her team is exceptional, and they show you what championship teams do. And that's a very good team. We had to play our best. They took us out of a lot of what we wanted to do, and I just wanted to congratulate them. That being said, I'm really proud of our kids. They battled to the end. It's tough, you start off 12-0, and they continue to battle and they continue to fight, and that's what I expect from them, and that's what they do. I'm proud of my seniors. Those 4 kids they're not kids anymore, but they've represented our program and our university with class, with integrity. They're ambassadors to our program, and they will not be forgotten. And, it's just it's one of those things, tough game for us, but we'll get better. We'll work in the off season, and hopefully we'll be back here and maybe the next game.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll take questions for the student athletes. We're here.
Jeff Grammer, Albuquerque Journal. Either one of you guys talk about that 12-0 run and how hard it was to come right out of the gates and have them just kind of dictate it so early on, and how hard it was to come back from that.
Yeah, they're really good at jumping on you early. I think they did the same thing against Nevada yesterday. And, they really did it by getting out and running. They have, everyone sprinting the floor as hard as they can, and that's really tough to guard, and they find each other really well.
I also would agree. I think that it was really hard for us because it kind of caught us by surprise when they came out and they just went on a 12-0 run. But
Ken Rodriguez with RedMenace.com. Did they show anything different for you guys this third time, or was it kind of the same as the first 2 games?
Pretty much the same thing. Pressure defense, very good defense. They help well. They guard the drives well. I mean, their defense is pretty phenomenal. And offensively, they ran pretty much the same things, as well as just getting out in transition, and they're really good at that.
the only thing that I would say that was different than the last time when we played them is they hedged really high on the screens, on ball screens, and that was a tough transition for us.
Caroline, as a senior, you talk a little bit about this season, but also the whole career.
It's not what I expected. The coaching change and everything, but I've really loved having Coach Sanchez. She really gave me a lot of opportunities, so I'll always be grateful for that, and that's about it.
And can you talk about the senior class that's leaving, the impact it's left on those that are still on the team?
Coming in as a freshman, like our senior class definitely personally helped me a lot and taught me a lot of things, and it's going to be really hard, like losing Caroline and Jordan, Chin, and Jamie, because like they're the people I look up to. Like when I go out there, I want to play like Jordan, or I want to do something like Caroline. So it's going to be really hard for me next year not to have them around.
Caroline, can you just talk a little bit about just the transition between coaches and I guess it seemed like you guys as the seniors were really leaned on by the staff to help with that transition and did a really good job. Just talk a little bit about that whole experience.
Yeah, last year, especially those seniors, we relied on them a lot. They kind of showed us the way how to lead this year's team. They were a great example for us. And, we had a much different team this year, a lot more depth. But again, I think those seniors last year showed us kind of how to lead and get everyone on board, and do what coach wanted and all the staff wanted us to do.
And Khadijah, talk about just the foundation that you guys have been able to build under Coach Sanchez and what you guys have to do maybe next year to kind of take it a little further.
I definitely think this year has been a really good year as for foundation-wise with the freshmen that came in and like who we still have for next year. And I think next year it's going to be really tough, obviously, without our seniors, but I think we have something to build off of for sure.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Question for Coach Sanchez?
Coach, getting back to just the start of the game, the 12-0, was the way they did it surprising in any way?
No, not really. I mean, that's the biggest thing we said is they can't get loose early. You know, they just notorious for doing that. They jumped on us right away. We were tentative on offense. We backed down a little bit and on our heels. And, you know, those are the things that we talked about. And, you know, that's what championship teams do. And not necessarily on offense. They started it with their defense, and that's what they're known to do. It's a very good and it's a very daunting defense that they have, and they just they guard you, they defend, they deny, and when we got on our heels a little bit, then they started their transition. So we know they were capable of it. We wanted to prevent it early, and we didn't.
The size obviously was apparent. Their bigs, at one point they were up 16-2 in points in the paint. You guys made a comeback in that stat, but they were out rebounding. The points were all coming on layups at one point early on. Can you just talk about their size advantage?
Well, we just didn't box out. The first play of the game was very indicative. The big kid shoots, misses. We don't box her out. She gets her own rebound and then puts it back again. And that's, you know, they do had a little bit of a size advantage with the big kid, but, you know, you got to get back to fundamentals and boxing out. And that's what hurt us early, in my opinion. We didn't box out the first shooter, and they go back, and they're so good. And even the guards at getting their own rebound because they pursue the ball like crazy. But if you look at the rebounding total, 32-38, we had 15 boards. They had 11. You know, so I think we battled, and I'm proud of our kids for that. But you just look at what they did to us on the offensive end and their defensive end. They didn't give us anything. We had to earn it, and we played on our heels. And for a team like that, you can't do it.
Let's go here first. We'll come back to you.
Coach, it seemed like you guys were able to slow them down when you were able to hold them into the half-court offense. Was that not something you guys had tried to do at the beginning, or is it just kind of the way the game worked out?
Well, we did want to make it a half-court game. And what sparks transition is turnovers, which you can't give. And actually, we only had 13 turnovers. And that's not bad against a team like that. And shots that aren't really within the flow of your offense. So if you don't take good shots and you turn the ball over, that'll spark a transition. And that's what happened in that run. We didn't take good shots early, and it led to some of their transition baskets. You know, when we got in a flow, when we got in our half-court sets and started running some things, we did well. We cut it to 12 at one point in the first half. Second half, we were cutting it down a little bit, but our runs were few and far between, and then they turned up their defense. And
talking about the turnovers, I know that's one of the things that you talked about all season long and that contributed to a lot of the losses. Is it a positive sign that you guys were able to hold down the turnovers against a team like San Diego State today?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. You know, we've had, 29 turnovers against them. So they're a very good defensive team. 13 turnovers. I mean, you look at our stat line, except for the field goal attempts in total. We're 11 for 54, and that should be well, not 54, but that 11 should be a halftime total, 11. And we were 11 for the game. So, again, you have to credit San Diego State and their defense and their schemes. And then it's nothing that you don't know, but once you still get into it, it's easier said than done. Play with poise, play with heart, and I think our kids did that. But we had to attack the basket early and take it at them, and we just didn't do that.
Thomas Romero Salas, Daily Lobo. Coach, can you talk about your offense? I mean, you guys just couldn't hit anything really. You guys just could not get in the groove. Well, why do you think that was?
It was because of their defense. I mean, I can't say it enough. They took us out of everything that we wanted to do. Their defense is terrific. And we were on our heels a little bit in the first part. They went on a 12-0 run. And, we got drives to the basket, but we looked at the defense instead of the rim. And again, you got to credit San Diego State. It's what they do, and we know what they do. But it's easier said than done, to go out there and trying to find a little bit of a bend in the armor. And, we did it in some spurts, but it wasn't enough, and it was few and far between.
Coach, San Diego State I think their RPI today is 47, and it may fall after this game, even though they won, the way the RPI works. In the latest bracketology from ESPN, they're a 12 seed. That would indicate that if they don't win tomorrow, there's a chance they may not get an at-large berth. I wonder if you could comment on that, and what, if you feel like this league is maybe being undersold a little bit, and whether they deserve an at-large berth if they don't win.
I think at this point, if you don't get San Diego State in, it would be an absolute travesty. That would be completely unfair to them. Their body of work speaks for itself. They ran through the league. It's not their fault that their RPI drops when they play teams of a lesser RPI. They're a very good basketball team, and they will prove it once they get to the tournament. If by chance that they don't win the championship, then I think our league should get 2 in. And that would just be ridiculous. I mean, I can't fathom the fact that San Diego State's not in right now, regardless of what happens tomorrow. And they deserve it. Their program deserves it. Their staff deserves it. And I know I've seen stranger things happen in my 24 years of coaching, but that would not be the right thing to do.
Right here.
Coach, a two-part question. Looking forward, how do you replace the senior leadership from Caroline and the others? And what are some of the building blocks you have that are coming back and even coming into the program with the incoming freshmen?
Well, it's a good foundation that both classes, last year's class and this year's class, have left us. Do you replace a Caroline Durbin? Probably not. Not for a while. But it starts in the off season. You can't get better individually during the season. That's when your team progresses. It starts, in the off season when we get to work in individuals. We're limited in time constraints with what we can do. They've got to come in and do the extra work, and this group will. The group that's coming back will do that. We've got Khadijah Shumpert coming back, Jordan Peacock, Bryce Owens, Sarah Hallis, Diva Vaughn. I mean, I'm going to forget some people, but we've got a very good core foundation. Ebony Walker, who's a transfer from Texas Tech, will be eligible next year in the post. Whitney Johnson is a freshman, really, that'll be back. With the incoming players and our freshmen, we're pretty excited about what we're building. And, the standard, again, is set until somebody knocks San Diego State off. So that's the bar and that's the standard, and that's the level that we want to get to.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
For San Diego State, we have student athletes Chelsea Hopkins, Malia Nuhinu, Coach Beth Burns. Coach, we can start off with your remarks on today's game.
First, again, would like to congratulate New Mexico on a great season, a great atmosphere yesterday and today. They have a lot of really, really skilled pieces, and appreciate that, we've had battles with them 3 times over, and their young players are really going to be something and continue to develop. For our team, I really couldn't be prouder. What we do is hard to do. I'm not self-aggrandizing it. I'm just saying it's just effort. It's just get down, get in a stance, and get after it. And I think the way we've opened both games has been really impressive to us. New Mexico has very good skill positions. And if you allow them to run their stuff, they really can be good. And we know we have to give that extra effort to disrupt what they wanted to do. And I thought we did that just in spades early. We got a little bit of fatigue in the second half, which led to a little bit too much fouling and a few more O boards than we would have liked. But overall, couldn't be prouder of our effort. I thought Malia started the game great. You know, you can't imagine when you're out there pressuring people to know that you have somebody who can kind of erase things at the cup is a huge difference. I thought her energy level really helped us and sparked us get off to that big run. And today, Kiana Stamps was very big off the bench. Really, you know, she's experienced, she's versatile, she can play multiple positions, and I thought the lift she gave us was really impressive. Final comments are, for those of you that were here yesterday, people wanted to talk about Chelsea and her assists, and Chelsea said she does what's required. And we were struggling a little bit offensively today, so I thought you saw what she does. We needed her to score a little bit more, and she did. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Chelsea, I just wondered, the general theme up here when New Mexico was at the podium was that you guys have this knack of just jumping on people early and kind of setting the tone right out of the gate. Is that easier said than done?
Definitely easier said than done, but I think Coach Burns kind of instills in us first 5 minutes. That's what we talk about. When you start the game, you got to set the tone, you got to set the dynamic, and that's what we look to do against every opponent. We want them to feel our presence. We want them to know that we're going to set the tempo of this game, and we're going to try to maintain it, and that's just what we look to do every time we go out on the court.
Malia, this is Dan Johnson with the Mountain West Network. Just want to talk about the defensive effort. You guys held New Mexico to 20% shooting from the floor tonight. So what was working for you guys on the defensive end?
Well, we knew that this game would be a tough game, and we needed to come out with energy. And as Chelsea said, Coach Burns always instills in us to come out and fight for what we want and come out strong in the first 5 minutes and really play defensive. Our program is built on defense, and we want to maintain that forever.
Good job. That's a great answer right there. I just had to interrupt. That was an answer.
Over here.
Chelsea, I know we've asked you this a zillion times, but do you feel like you guys are in the NCAA tournament if you don't win tomorrow, or is it?
Well, we definitely don't want to leave any doubt in terms of tomorrow's game, but I feel like the body of work kind of speaks for itself. We're on what I think like a 17-game win streak, and not that we really pay attention to that kind of stuff, but we've worked so hard, and it's definitely been a goal of ours since the beginning of the season. And I think that if we get the opportunity to get in, we could definitely turn some heads. We have the opportunity to win a few games, and definitely think we can compete with anybody in the country. So I hope we get that opportunity. I hope we get that chance, and we're just gonna, play it one game at a time. And we're gonna start tomorrow, and look for our shot.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, we'll dismiss them at this time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Now we'll take questions for Coach Burns.
Beth, just getting back to what I asked Chelsea a minute ago, when you jump out of the gate the way you have the last 2 days, I mean, how much of an impact does that have on just draining the morale out of teams?
Well, obviously that's the plan. I think that, our team, we have an experienced older team, and they were so excited. Our practices Monday and Tuesday were I was like, stop. We had to stop because our level of energy and excitement, like you make them stay to task, and they can finally get to the tournament, a chance to cut down some nets. And I think that combined, we like to say, and I stole this, I steal everything I say. Somebody said it first. Our separation's in our preparation. And I have terrific assistant coaches who, as we speak, somebody's in a YO room and somebody's in a Fresno room. We've all been breaking them down for the last 3-4 weeks. It's a little different in this setting. You have a little less time. You can't overburden them. You got to give them key things. But I think with you get confidence from great preparation, and they trust in what they're being told, and then they do it, and then they have success with it. So I think that, with that said, Mick, you can't know. I mean, you can't know. You can come out with great energy, and every 50-50 ball goes to the other team. But I think we're confident. We have quick hands, and we've beaten people. If you're playing somebody for a third time, the first 5 minutes are extra critical because we want to find a little doubt early. And I think we've done a really good job in both games of doing that.
Just to follow that up for a minute, I think these first two games you've held these two teams to 10 points below what you did in conference play and like 13 below what you did overall. Are you maybe a little more impressed than even you thought you could be defensively this far in the tournament?
Ask me tomorrow. I mean, you play to win the game, and I think it's, I'll take Mark's question before he asks it, but you play to win the game. And I think for us, separation is important. How we win is important. And I think our team understands that. But more than anything, our team is not playing what's our RPI, they love to play. It's fun to play. If we play great defense and take the ball off the backboard, then I allow them to run. If they make a shot, then they have to run one of my plays, which sometimes are offensive. So they'd rather just be able to run their own. So I think when we take it off the glass, we're really good. And I think they have fun playing that way. And that's really been more the difference. We have skilled people, and they have some experience playing together.
Go ahead.
See, in San Diego, we work it like that. You have to understand that. I go back to January 9th when Fresno put 80 on us. And I said in subsequent press conferences, we'll never know if that was coaches don't need wake-up calls. We're always awake and we're always worried. But if that for us, and really credit to Fresno, and probably my disappointment overall is that we should get at least 2 and potentially 3 bids, because I'm telling you right now, Fresno and YO could not only get it, they could win a game. They could get in and win. I've been in this league a long time, and I'm glad I am, and I'm proud of our league. This is a better league. Mountain West this year is a lot better than Mountain West last year. We have 3 20-game winners. We've taken on all comers. I mean, New Mexico has a win over Texas Tech, who I'm told is already in the tournament. So we scheduled to put ourselves in position to protect ourselves so we wouldn't have to win 3 in a row. I think the things like we've had double-digit leads. We've never trailed in these games. I'm looking at notes because I never know this fact stuff. We've had big margins of victory against quality teams. Has got to help us. But you all know that when I'm immersed in this, I really have no idea what's happening in those conference tournaments nationwide. So if there's a lot of upset, bottom line is if you don't walk in the front door and there's a lot of upsets, sometimes your heart gets broken. So we'll do the best that we can to not be in that position. But I really think we have more than one team in the Mountain West that could get in and could win. So if anybody's listening, anybody, I think that could happen.
Back to your point a minute ago about the margin of victory, how much have those kind of games helped your second-line players, and what have you made of them so far in the tournament?
Well, I think, too, just getting healthier. Desi and Kiana didn't start the season, and so just as they get healthy and play, they really are capable of playing starter minutes. I think, we're in a situation where we've got to play to win, and we've got to play the people who are ready to play to win. And so I think more than anything, when you're allowed to have separation, kids can get in and get some experience because they can make a mistake, and it's not going to be crucial.
Can you guess what I'm asked now?
No, I'm not really sure.
They talked about hedging the ball screens higher. Is that something that you tweaked or just something you did better?
Well, I think, again, they have really they can shoot it. Look at when they play teams in our league that are more zone teams. They can really shoot the ball. And I think we've gotten better at it, but we tweak. This is where we've really gotten better, Mark. At the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the conference, I could say, our team is going to guard ball screens this way. And that was it. We had to do what we thought would be most effective as a team. Now I can say, if it's Durbin, do this. If it's Halaz, do this. We couldn't have done that 2 months ago. And now I think we can, like if they allow our staff to do the work to give them the nuances of what they're good at, and we're savvy enough and experienced enough that with very little breakdown, we're literally guarding ball screens different ways depending on who's the guy with the ball. And that's been, like this last 8, 9, 10 games of the stretch has been really big for us.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.